Everybody take a breath. All right, we have truly been working on reinvesting our energies, have we not?
Yes.
All month. We've been pulling our energies away from judgment. We've been investing them back into what we choose. We learned about God being in all things. God is everywhere present. We talked last week about giving up good for greater good so that we ourselves could experience renewal. Did anybody go home and do that?
Yes.
Give up some, oh, good, good. So, we're really trying to create a world where our energies are exactly where we want them. Not stagnant, not invested in things that don't bring us the outcome we seek. This has kind of been our goal every month. And it's really easy, isn't it? Okay. So we're going to talk about your purpose. I have been working with people for a long time, and the one thing that is universally said to me is, when they're being very honest, they'll look at me with deep sincerity and say, I feel like I've come to this planet to do something very big. I feel like there's something big that I need to do to help mankind. And this is a universal statement. Everybody feels this inside. So, how to do something big to help mankind and help the planet is to become something big. We breathe that in, to become something big. So, how do we get bigger? We do it in the little things of our lives. Your purpose is in your details. So, they gave me this visual. I'll share this with you. They showed me someone that was carrying a tremendous amount of lower frequency energy in their field. And then they said, these are my guides and teachers, you know, whenever I use the word they, it's my spiritual team. You can't grumble 80% of the time and come to church and get prayed up, and then move through your 20% light that you gathered and walk back into that 80% grumbling and achieve. Do you understand? Yes. So, 80% grumbling, finally get your tail to church, get the light going, get yourself happy. Now that 20%'s alive again, and that'll take you, what, till Tuesday? That's why we have Tuesday night, by the way. And then you fall back into the 80% grumbling because you never allowed the two to become one. So, this is what my guides and angels and teachers said. You, meaning the collective you are trying to take God back into your world instead of living in God's world. Okay? The burden of God to be good. I have to meditate every day. I shouldn't yell at that person. This stuff is hard. This is why you don't bring God into your world. It's easier in your world. God stuff doesn't work anyway in my world. I do feel better when I go to church. I feel better when I talk with people who love God. I feel better. But my life is still a struggle because it's too hard if I try to bring God into my world. Do you hear? Okay. Whatever you are doing, there are always two worlds in that moment. There is your world and there's God's world in that moment. Take a breath. Okay. Jesus said, I came to bring you peace and to make your burdens light. He did not say, I came to bring you peace on Sunday and so you can go haul a heavy burden the rest of the week. I came to bring you peace so your burdens can be light, 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 the light of God. Not just physically light, but spiritual. When you become aware of the higher energy, you can see God in everything around you, and then your higher self is present. Okay, think with me for a minute, so we can get this in our heads. Think with me, everybody has something that they do. You either work or you do something. Everybody's productive at some level. Think when everything is working very challenging for you. You're in a moment and things are difficult. Imagine you could stop and say, wait, God's world could be right here, right now. And you just choose to look at God's world. What do you think you would see? You might see alternatives. You might see other energies. You might realize it's just not that darned important. You know? In that moment, you would be able to see the energy, simply because you wanted to see God's world. How hard would that be? It requires one thing. Stay awake. Stay awake. Realize there's a choice. It's very simple, isn't it? Okay. Your world is your will. Did you know that? Your world is your will. And you get upset because things aren't happening the way you want them to happen. You use force, you use judgment, and we need it to work a certain way. That is how I know it will work. This is how it needs to work. And if you saw the higher energy, you would see that perhaps there is a new alternative for it. Perhaps there's a different way for it to work. Entering into God's world requires a release of your will. Okay. When we use the word will, we're not talking about your desires. Your desires come from your heart. Do you realize that? When we use the word will, we're talking about how you force things into being. So, will is defined as a wonderful tool. It allows us to focus our divine light to accomplish in matter. Do you think you need your will? Yeah, yes, you do. We need to focus our divine light in order to accomplish in matter, in order to move matter, to create, to make things happen. So we need our will. But to move into God energy, we have to release our hold on it being a certain way and lift up into potential. And if you see another alternative and you now move toward that, what are you doing but engaging your will? You're engaging your will. But now you're taking your God light and you're moving it into a different path. One that you may not know or understand, or maybe not, you're not in control of, but you can still do that. Do you understand how will is important? Okay. Last week we talked about that we teach our children how to create freely. Remember, create whatever you want, as long as it's from what you can see. Make sure that it's something that will fit in our world. You can be anything you want to be. Pick from what you can see. Don't pick outside of what you can see, because then you're not going to be accepted. Nobody's going to be able to use that. People are going to judge you, right? So when we move into God's world, we have to be that child that is literally picking from what cannot be seen. We're literally moving into a space where we may actually be different. How comfortable is this idea? Okay. All right. As children of God, we have to create. You realize that that's part of our job. We have this beautiful force that moves through us, and we have to create on the planet. When our eye is on making things happen in our way, the creation is always a smaller creation. It's always what we've seen before. Do you remember last Sunday when we talked about the child with the orange and purple hair and sang his answers to the teacher instead of speaking them? Does anybody remember that? Yes. And I got applause from Reba because she homeschools. You know, but think about that. Can you see yourself with orange and purple hair singing your answers to your boss? Yeah. Can you see yourself stepping out of what might be prescribed behavior to just be a little different? We have to be willing to see that, because if someone looks at you and sings their answers to you or talks to you in song, will you be taken aback? Or would you sing back to them? Hello? Hello? Do you see? What is your natural response? Let me take a step back and assess the situation. Is this person harmful? A danger to society? Or just being different? There is a key to God energy. It is always filled with love. If you see someone singing at you, they might be filled with love. Just look in their eyes. Oh, sing back at them. You know? There's always love in that God world. And it may be different. Are we ready to be different? Do you realize Christing requires you to be different? How many Christs do we see walking on the earth today in your world? Not that many. Not that many. I have seen them. But there are not that many who are embodying and living that level of consciousness that we see every day. And when you see one, they are bright. And they don't have to open their mouths. You know who they are. They're dynamic. And it's humbling. If we want to move into that, we have to really open that brain up to allow ourselves to understand that God's world is always filled with love, but it may look different. I'm asking you to expand. And I'm going to give you a present. Yay. Yes? Don't you love presents? Okay. All right. When your eye is in God's world, you are following a different route. You let God flow through you. You become a vessel of creations and a channel of God love. All your needs are always met and you always bless the whole. What is my purpose? God, what is my purpose? If my needs are met and I'm blessing the whole and I'm a channel of God's love and I'm having a great old time, am I even asking what my purpose is? No, because I'm on track with it. I'm loving life. I'm being me. I am being the unique I am. So, in our world, in our will, in your will, do you know what you do? You rush to do this, and you rush to do that, and you rush to do this, and you rush to do that, and you rush to do this, and you rush to do that, and at the end, guess what's left? This and that, and this and that, and this and that yet to do. And you go, okay, I'm going to take my rest now, I'm going to go sleep, and I'm going to get up and do the same thing again and again and again. We mark time by our sleep. We don't mark time by our joy. We don't mark time by that light that flows through us. And along this and that road, there's accomplishments. Have you ever gotten a raise? You go, oh yeah, I got a raise, thank you. Back at it. Get a new job, thanks. Back at it. It's like, do you really pull back and say, look at me. Yay me. Do you say, oh gosh, you give me a raise? Yay me, then I'm taking a week off. Yay! Why not? Okay. I know what you're thinking, but I'm going to move on past it. All right. Every moment every moment can be a God moment, and it's your divine light that shines in that God moment. Okay? So take a breath. Last week we also talked about the formula for reinvesting in you. Your intentions and expectations became agreements, and the agreements became agendas. Anybody working on that? Making agendas to keep you on track. All right. In God's world, every possibility that could happen exists, but it's all good. It all has a good ending to it. And it comes through the everyday details. I wanted to share with you just a little scripture in the Aquarian. Ready? This is Aquarian 59, and the sages have gathered, and they're talking about the road of mankind. How that man, the great spiritual man, the great Christ, was hidden deep within the soil of this world of matter. That beautiful Christed child of God, hid in mankind in this world of matter. And now his journey is to reawaken. So it says, the soul is drawn to perfect light, that's our reawakening, perfect light, by 4 steeds. Will, faith, love, and helpfulness. Will, we understand that. Flow through me, God. Take my will and flow through me. Faith, I believe in the energy of what I see in God light. Faith is that which you cannot yet see in material. But I believe in the energy of God light. Faith, will, I'll step out on it. Love, I'm going to see that God world in love, and then I'm going to be helpful. Helpfulness. 4 things. They're not difficult, are they? But when we fall back into how I need it to look, we've taken out the helpfulness, because we can't help anybody when it's all about me. Did you know that? It's all about me, I'm not going to help you. We've taken out the love, because I'm shrinking my love. We're certainly amping up the will, aren't we? And where's our faith? If we act on will alone and personal will, we drop into the material world. When we act on all four, will, faith, hope, will, faith, love, and helpfulness, we lift back into that God world. Simple, simple, right? Okay. I could tell you so many miracles that happen when the eye is on God. I could tell you so many miracles in your lives that happen when the eye was on God. And I could tell you miracles in your life that you've forgotten about. Because you allowed it to occur, you had a wonderful experience, and then what did you do? You went, this is awesome, God, now I'm going to take it back into my world. And then you pull that beautiful God energy back into what your agenda is for your personal world of matter. And then you forget. You forget what fabulous things happened. You forget. I wanted to share one little story, which is a simple one for the churches. Ready? Yes. Okay. I think it was 1998. I think it was 1998. We had, in the middle of that year, 98, 97, I think it was 98. In the middle of that year, we were like losing cash, and we had no assets. We'd been around since 1990. We had no assets, so when you lose cash, you lose cash. People don't get paid. So, but they still work. They still show up and work. So it was the moment of we're going to need to change things. And Spirit guided us, and we changed things, and it turned around. It was fabulous. I told you that story a million times, so I won't go on that aspect of it. But we ended the year with a surplus of $1,800. It was fabulous, and we were so happy because we turned the corner, and we were recouped what we had lost, and we were at $1,800. That was a miracle, people. So about January, early February, Patrick and I made a meeting with our banker. And we sat down with her, and I wanted to do it. Spirit guided me. Because I know business, I know what's required, and I know there's hoops to jump through. And so I met with our banker, and I said, Karen, here's our financials, 0 assets, because we owned nothing, right? But we had our little $1,800 surplus. That was our asset. Karen, we're going to buy a church next year. We're going to buy something. So she looked at us and smiled. Okay. And I said, I need to know what you're going to require of me. Because you're the banker. What are you going to require of us in order for us to buy? And she said, well, we normally require 20% down, and these are the interest rates that are available today. And for us, I think it was 10% at the time. And so she goes, she's smiling. We're just so cute. Patrick and I were so cute. And she was smiling at us, and yeah, that's what we require. So whatever you buy, you're going to have a big down payment for. And I said, that's okay. We have turned the corner, and we are going to do it. God is with us. I see it happening. I've already been shown it. I've got the faith it's happening. We are around the corner, and we're going to do it. And then we left her. And then we went back in January the next year. And in February, we bought this property. And I've forgotten what we put down, $60,000, $80,000 down. She was floored. Because in the world of matter, that can't happen. You cannot do that. You can't. But we were not looking at matter anymore. Our eyes are on God. We bought this property in 2000. So a year later, it was a year later, so whatever date the meeting was, it was a year later, we were financing this property by April. Now, who in matter could have made that happen? And I'm here to tell you there was not one deep pocket that came over and said, I'm going to give you all your down payment. Was anybody around during that time? There was not one deep pocket. It was a collective effort of the church. And it was a miracle of God. We finance the church, and you all know we've paid it off at this point. We've been here 16 years, and the church was paid off last year. How is it possible we paid the church off? That's not possible. In the world of matter. In the world of God, it's possible. Of course it's possible. Think about it. How much do we limit ourselves when we look to what has already been and we walk in that path? When we take our 20%, oh, we're so happy, we love God, we love each other. This is a beautiful place. I love pulling in this property, and I love being home. This is a home for me. This is my home. I love it. But when I leave, I don't want to go back to a huge burden that I'm going to be dragging around, where I'm upset or yelling at somebody driving. I know you guys have stopped doing that. But do you understand? God. All right. It's cool to see an angel. It is so cool to see an angel. But you know what happens after you see an angel? You have to do laundry. It's great to have divine guidance, to get a download of something amazing, and then you cook dinner. We are in the world of matter. We're in the world of matter to bring that God energy into every moment. Your purpose is in your details. Whatever is happening in your world, the details of your world, that's part of your purpose. That's part of the grand design and plan of your life. So when you move, so here's your gift. Ready? Present time. Everybody wants a magic wand, right? Make it so, God. Make it so. Okay, the magic wand is this. God's world. Wherever you are, just shock yourself. Snapping's good because it makes your brain shift. Wherever you are, whatever's going on, God's world. Do it in front of your boss. Everybody, let's do it. Everybody get it. God's world. How'd your brain respond? Okay. You can move from matter to God in a heartbeat. That fast. And when you're there, what are you going to see? Miracles. Infinite possibilities. And miracles are simply the natural outworking of laws that you don't even know exist. It's energy moving in a way that's natural and right. It's not crazy. It's the exact way energy moves. But it's moving in a way that now we can accept because we are the receptors. The energy of God's world can now move through who? You. You're looking at your boss snapping? It isn't going to move through him. Come on, God, change him, God. No. God world through me. And you might look at your boss and go, oh, he's having a bad day. We move into seeing love because in God's world there is only love. Does everybody hear me? In God's world there is only love. Your purpose, absolute and totally, is to bloom where you are. And it doesn't mean stay where you are. It means bloom where you are, wherever you are. As you're moving forward, as you're trying this, as you're trying that, blossom and bloom where you are. Imagine if you could just look at all the energy of even just our city. And then we could see the people that are waking up to their own divinity. Pops of light. Do you think there would be 500,000? Do you think there would be 20,000? I don't know. I have no idea. But don't you think I want to have a number on my aura? I want to be counted as one of the lights that is popping divinity because it's me. And I am doing it without thought or concern of changing your world. I am doing it to change my own. And as I pop that light, what does it do? It impacts everything. You help the world by being you. You help the world by being divine. That is your purpose. To be the brightest, shiniest you can be. And to not invest your energy in anything that takes you away from that. I am no longer diminished by people. I am no longer diminished by my work. And I am no longer diminished by the opinions of others. That's a big one. They can have their opinions, but it will not diminish who I am. I let my light shine. And I am now used through my will, my faith, my helpfulness, and my love. The 4 steeds. I am used to bless myself and bless the whole. Can you guys feel yourselves expanding?
Yes.
Okay. You be you, the world will change. You will be great, you will be used in service, and you will be the divine child of God. Now, you may have a little apartment and a job you go to every day, and you may cook and do laundry every day. But can you still be the awesome child of God? Yeah. And your laundry's going to be magnificent. There will come a time as we walk when matter will not be as required. But for now, as we take these steps, it is to bring the light and not to bring God into our world, but to lift our world into God. Lift who we are into God. Easy? Mm-hmm. Magic wand. Everybody do it. God world. All right, let's go with it. Father, Mother God, in this moment, I ask that your infinite love fill this room. And I ask that a calm of light descend over each person. And I ask that they begin to feel their own individuality, that unique essence of self. Father, as you created each, we know you created a unique pattern. And I would invite each of you now just to feel the energy in your heart. The pattern of perfect you, perfect light. And feel it vibrating. And if there is anything that diminishes that perfect you in your heart, just take a breath and let it go. Breathe in. And just let go any diminishing thoughts or energies. No matter how the world sees me, I see me. I am dynamic, radiant, and strong. Feel the beautiful love of Jesus Christ engulfing you. And become aware that you are being lifted up into a space where your light is one with God. Feel the essence of your divinity, that divine being you are, begin to move out into every cell, every inch of your auric field, all that you are. You should feel lighter. And I want you to say, this is my world. This is my world. Father, Mother God, we ask to feel divinity. And we ask to feel that we are loved beyond measure. So love beyond measure can flow through us. Today is the day we walk in your world. Breathe. And I want you to feel that extended sense of self as you come back into your chair. Bring that. Don't just drop back into the woes of your world. Bring that extended self, feeling it. As you sit in your chair, feel the chair supporting you. And let the woes go. I am divine. And Father, Mother God, I ask that each experience a day of magic to hold on to. And I know this will be done. Take a breath, send your love into the room. And we thank you, God. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. How many times do you think you need to hear this again?
70 times 7.
70 times 70.
Yeah.
In your agenda that you are creating for your world to support your spirit, make a line item where you recognize God's world. Somehow create that in your daily life. I need to get back in God's world. Do you feel like you're in God's world today?
Yes.
Say, "Yay, God."
Yeah.